So now concluding section. So if identities are not fixed or essential, but they're fluid if stable, right? What does obligation amount to? Well, he says obligations are made up of intentions, right? They're made up of what Rorty calls we intentions, as in we don't act cruelly to innocent people, or we don't allow police to get away with shooting unarmed people, right? So obligations are made, right? They are valid intersubjectively, not by appeal to some transcendent reality. And obligations also bind us. So they're made, but they also bind us because our identity is bound to the groups with which we're a part, right? The group of non-cruel people, for example, or the group upholding laws which prevent murder rather than facilitate it. So race language also works to do these things, but it also invokes stories. So it has this additional function, right? It does those things I just mentioned, right? It functions to create obligations. But it also works to invoke stories and shared histories, right? Troubles, triumphs, right? Interpretations. About this feature of the term race, Glaude writes, race language invokes the specific pain and suffering, joy and triumph that is definitive of our experiences as a community in the United States. Discarding that language would remove our capacity to tell that story. It would, in effect, bracket out a background of things that matter. So, pragmatic approaches to Black identity rest on 2 points for Glaude. The first is that race language identifies and describes ways of interacting which help us make sense of our experiences, harmonize our experiences. They're tools which can help us do this. Talking about racial profiling helps make sense of recurring patterns of police brutality. But he notes, and there are lots of other examples, where race can actually play a role in making sense of patterns in experience because race is playing a role as an idea or concept in those situations. But he makes a point that even though race can function as a tool and help us make sense of some of these problems, race as a tool might not be appropriate for every circumstance, for every problem, right? Some tools are not suited to some problems, and this is true with the term of race as a tool. The second thing that pragmatic approaches to Black identity rest upon is that race language can help tell stories. Stories about Black identity, about beliefs, about choices, about actions. And these can help solve problems because the stories illuminate those elements amidst a problem that people are trying to solve. Beliefs, choices, actions are all relevant to a problem that people are trying to solve, and race language can play a role there. So that's the end of this lecture on Eddie Glaude Jr.'s piece. I hope it was helpful and informative. I look forward to talking with you about it soon. Thanks.